Hello, my name is Rodney. I am from the pOedGamerQuehegan YouTube channel, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that I've noticed in my years of playing video games and board games that have kind of been a hurdle for some people to get into. And it's kind of more prevalent in card games that I've noticed than in most others. They've kind of lessened it now with more cooperative games and with deck building games, but things like building card games like this one called Game of Thrones, and you think, well, that's a living card game. Everybody has the same opportunity to get a card. Well, the thing is that when you get a starting deck, you play it, you like it, everybody's in the same foot. Everybody's starting off with a starting deck. Well, so you like a certain faction. You like the Lannisters, or you like the Starks, and you modify the deck. And if you modify it correctly, you will always beat, you will most of the time beat, we'll say it that way, somebody that has the starting deck. So it kind of makes it harder for somebody to get into that game and want to play you when you've got so many other cards and you're really beating them every time. Same thing like in Cthulhu card game. It's the Call of Cthulhu card game. It's the same way. If you're just playing with the base set and not updating the decks and buying expansions, not too bad. But this is really prevalent, and one time I was actually playing with some of my friends in a card game. It's my favorite card game. It's one that really started me into it, and I've been collecting for a long time. It's Magic the Gathering. This game is one of those that it's collectible, so it's random what you get. And I've spent, I don't even want to think about how much money on that game over the years. I have played Commander, and Standard, and Legacy. I've played all those 4 different formats, and I'm better than average at the game. So when somebody new comes into it and they're playing with like one of the pre-constructed decks, or they built their own deck. They're trying to learn how to play the game, and they build up just the cards they have, like a very small card pool. It's very hard for me to realize that they weren't to my skill level, and I would play them with a deck I had just taken to a tournament. I'd beat them very quickly, and it kind of drove them away from the game because it's like, wow, I don't really want to invest this much time or money, or I don't want to play and just keep constantly getting beat. So over the times, I actually have I actually build different decks. I build my decks with people that are newer to the game, and I built decks that's geared more for that, like less rules and not as many combos. And then I have my decks that I play with pretty much my friend Tim, because he is a very hardcore gamer like I am, and we both really we'll play games against each other, and it's really hard. The rules we're using are more advanced rules, more advanced combos and things like that, strategies. But against new players, I wouldn't even think about taking one of those decks against one of them now. But the thing is, also, that kind of falls over into video games also. It's kind of like Mario Kart 8. This game's kind of deceiving with that, because it's like, oh, I want to play this with my friends, so I'll go ahead, I'll play it, unlock all the tracks, and then invite your friends over. Everybody's like, oh, cool, I've only played this a few times. So you all start playing, and you always win because you unlocked all the tracks. You've practiced the game a lot more. Your intention was to just to play the game so everybody can play with your friends together. But now you're just better at it because you played it more. And now your friends are like, I always lose. I don't. And sometimes some people don't want to play with people with you because you're always winning. Same thing. This game is very much that way. It's like, oh, I got an amiibo. I want to level my amiibo up, and we can play against him. Well, you've played against your amiibo and leveled him up so far, and now it's probably the amiibo can probably good match for you, But your friends that don't have this game, they come over and play it. Not so much. You and the amiibo wipe them out, and then it's just you two fighting. So that's another thing. I mean, this is kind of like, I mean, that same kind of thing can apply to just any fighting game. Persona 4 is the same way. You play it, your friends come over like, oh, I love the RPG. Let's try it out, and you slaughter them. And it's one of those things where how do you deal with these issues? Like, do you have in Magic the Gathering? Do you have a second deck that you play with your friends that aren't as good at the game? Do you play with people that aren't as good at the game? I mean, did you find that boring? With like living card games, do you have a starter deck that you play with your other friends, or do you just have the deck that you've modified and you give the starter deck to your friends? So I've been looking up this. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to handle it to try to get somebody into the game, because it's really hard. I mean, with video games, it's not as bad because you can just say, hey, here's a controller, let's play, and if you don't want to, you don't have to play as to your best ability. But to me, I would, when I'm starting out, I want somebody to play. I like to play against somebody that's better than me because it makes me better. But not everybody's that way. Some people want to play against somebody equal level or lower because they have at least have a chance of winning. But let me know what you guys do. Do you play less to your ability? Do you play at your ability? Do you just crush everybody that comes in front of you? Tell me what you do and put it down in the comments, and we'll see how everything goes. But till next time.